In this video, I want to take a look at some of the implications of the coronavirus COVID-19 situation for small business owners who have leases or licenses. And a number of questions arise. I've had a number of queries from small business owners. So I'll just run through some of the queries that I've had and try and address as best I can the questions. First question is, and the most obvious one, is must I keep paying rent? Bottom line is there's almost certainly no entitlement in the lease to cease paying rent. In other words, when you sign up for the lease, there are various covenants and conditions, and it is extremely unlikely that the coronavirus is going to give you an opportunity or a lawful way to cease paying rent. So it's very, very unlikely. If you did that, the opportunity is open to the landlord then to take matters further, and he could or she could look at courses of action, including commencing legal proceedings against you to recover the rent, to recover the lease, to get or obtain possession of the premises, and obviously if you paid a rent deposit or a rent deposit deed, that would be down the Swanee, and obviously you may well have a guarantee as well in respect of the rent, or somebody else may have provided a guarantee in relation to the rent. All of those avenues would be open, legal, lawful courses of action open to the landlord to pursue the rent. So bottom line is, when you enlist, you may soldier, and therefore when you sign up for a lease, you must abide by the terms and conditions, the covenants and conditions. Can I terminate the lease or just hand it back? No, you could only do so with the consent of the landlord. That's assuming, of course, that there's no break clause option in the lease. Maybe there is, but if there is a break clause option in the lease, then obviously you can only exercise it in accordance with the terms in the lease and give the required notice period. But by and large, you can't just terminate the lease and hand it back. You must, unfortunately, continue to pay the rent and comply with the various covenants and conditions for the term of the lease. Can you claim off your insurance policy? You'd need to review the terms and conditions of your insurance policy to see does it cover you in respect of having to pay rent or any other losses that might arise from the coronavirus COVID-19 situation. But I would caution you, you probably know as well as I do, that if you are looking through an insurance policy and you're looking at the terms and conditions and you're looking to find one in your favour, you are probably on a futile exercise. Fire away, by all means, review it carefully and closely, traverse it line by line, but the bottom line is you're always in trouble if you're looking for an insurance policy to give you a dig out. Can the landlord close my premises? This is a tricky one because it'll depend where the premises is. For example, if you're in a shopping centre, it's quite possible that the landlord might close the shopping centre in following the advice from public medical expertise and so on and so forth. But by and large, it is unlikely that the landlord can simply close the premises. Now, if for example, if a landlord closed the shopping centre, obviously you don't have access to your premises. Obviously you're not entitled or you're not able to exercise quiet enjoyment of the premises. And that would be a covenant or condition in your favour in the lease. So you'd have an argument there, all right, in relation to having access to your premises. And you would have an argument that the landlord has essentially breached the lease. Can you suspend payment of rent? There may be provision in the lease for the suspension of rent, but it's most likely to include the type of situation where a building might be struck by an act of God, by lightning, or perhaps a motor vehicle crashing into it, or some catastrophe, an earthquake, for example, a volcano, lightning, a force majeure act. If that sort of an act led to the building being damaged or destroyed, then it's possible that there is provision in the lease for suspension of payment of rent. But it would be an exceptional force majeure sort of circumstance, in my view. The bottom line is that, as I said at the outset, when you enlist, you may soldier. If you signed up for a lease, unfortunately, notwithstanding the appalling conditions, trading conditions at the moment, for small business owners and for entrepreneurs and sole traders and so forth, it is unfortunately the legal position that the landlord is entitled to get paid the rent in accordance with the lease. Now, that's not to say that the landlord won't be a perfectly reasonable individual and give you a break or give you some sort of a deal, even of a temporary nature. But from a legal perspective, if it comes to court or anything of that nature, the bottom line is the lease is probably going to oblige you to continue paying rent regardless of coronavirus implications or not. I hope you find this video useful. If you do, you might give it the thumbs up down below, and you may be interested in subscribing to my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.